Hello and welcome to Ringtalk Season 3 Episode 8. We're back with Steve Goodwin from his travels, obviously me, Kevin Campion, and Josh Goodwin. How are we doing, gentlemen?
All good, thank you. All good.
Thank you. A busy week in boxing.
Very busy last week,
shows.
Very busy.
Really stressful week while Steve was sunning himself out in Turkey.
Yeah, we had opponents put out left, right and centre, didn't we?
We held the fort together though, don't worry, Steve. You enjoy your holiday?
Hold on a minute. You did lumber me with some phone calls.
Yeah, that's true.
So come on. I did actually get some reports back that they've never seen a show run so well.
Well, obviously, stands of things.
Yeah.
No, welcome back. So obviously we've got a few things to recap. There's one thing I want to speak about first that I didn't mention last week and I should have done. And I'll let you talk about this, Steve. Not last week, the week before, we had new guy, Lewis Oakford, the cruiserweight, who went away, and I'll let you fill in the rest of the blanks.
So the issue you've got with cruiserweights at the moment in the UK, there are no UK opponents apart from Ozzy Jervier, who retires on the 15th of October. So when you have a cruiserweight now, you've got a problem. The foreigners know that there are very little cruiserweights, and they are charging mental money.
And there's not many foreigners. There's not even many foreigners about, let alone there's a...
And they are charging crazy money. So does the home boxer pay fortunes to fight a foreigner, or do we try and do something else? So Lewis Oakford was struggling to find an opponent. The other option they've got is to fight a heavyweight, by the way, so they could fight a heavyweight instead of a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
So they are the options. Lewis Oakford didn't want to fight a heavyweight, but he was happy to fight any cruiserweight. So there was a highly regarded cruiserweight in Devon Miller. Lewis Oakford was happy to go. We put Lewis Oakford's name forward to do that fight. They took it. And he went and won 39-37 against a highly regarded cruiserweight. So he, well done to Lewis. He went in the away corner and done the job well and won clearly. And so full credit to Lewis for doing that.
Yeah, great performance, Lewis. Sorry, I should have mentioned it last week, but I missed it. We'll review the big shows first of all, but I think we should review our show first of all the weekend. York Hall GB Fight Series 11, great show. Obviously, you were watching it via Zoom. Obviously, we're watching it live and in person. We'll start with the main event. We'll start with Joshua Wuhab versus Liam Dillon. Fantastic fight. It was a final eliminator for the super featherweight contest. Great fight, Joshua. It was just incredible.
Yeah,
fight.
Unbelievable. I think it was a fight of two halves for me. I thought Wahab dominated the first opening 4 to 6 rounds, and I think Liam took over in the last 4 rounds himself. I thought one of the scorecards was a bit of a disgrace. So the
scorecards were 114, 114, 113, 115, and 111, 117.
Yeah, I think the draw or a round or two either way, I don't think you can complain. I thought both could arguably won the fight. The 117, 111, I've seen the scorecard, is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, that's wild.
And yeah, that just sums up to me is British boxing sometimes, with judge scorecards like that. Everyone I spoke to at the end of the fight said, don't know, it's really close.
Yeah.
So how you can have somebody winning by 6 rounds, I do not know.
It was one of those fights that if it was Dillon, draw, or Wuhab, no one would have claimed outrage.
Let me tell you something about the fight. It's cards. I looked at the cards. There is no doubt that Wuhab won rounds 1 and 2. No doubt. Mm-hmm. Stevie Wonder would have scored it 2 rounds to 0, right? A baby, a 5-year-old who looked, he would have scored 2 rounds to Wuhab. But they didn't. Mm-hmm. They didn't. It's nuts. And one of the refs gave Wuhab the 11th round. He clearly lost the 11th round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He lost it by a mile. His tank could run dry. So I was looking for the cards, and look, on my view at the end, what I would say is this. Liam Dillon done what Liam Dillon does. Liam Dillon is a come-forward, tough man, doesn't give an inch, and just keeps chugging on and throwing. And full credit to him. I don't want to discredit his win, because full credit to Liam, because he's done what Liam does. And he won. I did think, after the fight, that Joshua Wuhab had won.
Yeah, you thought Josh had
I thought he'd won. Well, I said to Josh, I thought he'd won quite well, even though he tired down the back straight. I thought he bagged enough rounds early, and especially with some rounds with body shots, that I gave him. I scored it to him. But that doesn't mean that I'm right. But I scored Joshua the winner of that fight.
What did you? Sorry, Josh. Who did you think on the night? Did you have?
I was actually cameraman as well for Steve-O, but So it's hard to try and feel and watch, but
Sure.
my gut instinct at the end was a draw or a round either way. That's
Okay.
Because I wasn't scoring round by round, but as I was filming, but
Until what?
I was
that was my gut instinct.
And do you know what? You can't argue with that. What I do say, and I have spoken to Mickey Amu, and I say this on camera as well.
Who's the manager to Joshua?
Who's the manager to Joshua Wuhab? He blew up.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't fit enough. Mm-hmm. Something was wrong with his preparation, because there is no doubt that if you are never going to beat Liam Dillon if you're not 12 rounds super fit.
Absolutely.
No chance, because Liam Dillon is a relentless machine. Mm-hmm. Wuhab was not 12 rounds for whatever reason able to. He nearly got stopped in the last, right? So to me, Liam Dillon will get beat one day by somebody who is more talented than him and who has got the equal toughness and has got the 12 round fitness. So, and Joshua Wuhab failed on the 12 round fitness. That doesn't despite the fact I thought he nicked it, but I can't, as I say, Liam won, and I think that's okay as well. The 117111 card, I just can't say anything. Well, I'll get myself suspended because it's probably, I've got to say, one of the worst cards, if not the worst card, and we can talk about Taylor and Catterall in this, right? Probably the worst card I've ever seen in 12 years. Yeah. The worst card I've ever seen.
It was a great fight. I don't want to talk about it too much in terms of the thing, because it was a great fight. It was great to have a Commonwealth final eliminator on the show.
Liam was a deserved winner. I can't argue with him winning.
I agree.
It's just one of the
scorecards was absolutely.
Yeah, that's and I think, and I hope Liam Dillon goes on and has a go. Zelfa Barrett's the champion. I hope Liam Dillon does well. He's done it through small hall, so good luck to him, and I hope his career progresses. Joshua Wuhab will come back. Joshua Wuhab will learn from that, and I am certain he will get to that level and beyond. But he needs to improve preparation, fitness.
Great fight. Great to have it on. Another great fight. Another co-main event we had. We had the Southern Area Super Middleweight. We had the now champion William Webber with us last week, Josh, to obviously talk about the fight of the week of the fight. William Webber versus Max Lavelle Super Middleweight contest. Southern Areas are my favourite fights we put on. I think they produce the best fight.
If you're getting two lads that are similar experience and similar ability, they give the best fights because this is their world championship, isn't it?
I think they're brilliant. I absolutely love Syria.
As we discussed, not enough of them seen on TV.
Definitely not enough of them seen on TV, because I think they produce the old great fights in terms of but great performance from William and Max as well. It was just again another great fight.
It was a really good fight. I thought he came out dominated early on. I thought he allowed Max to come on strong in a few of the middle rounds, and then Will took over towards the end and won. On my card, I think I had Will 3 rounds up.
97-93 was the official scorecards on it. Steve, what was your?
I totally agree. I mean, I was watching the fight, and never at any time did I think that William wasn't winning that fight. It was just he won on points. He put in a good performance, and you know, one thing that I do want to say about this is he's had to have 3 camps for the one fight. And
we did touch on that with Wills last week, didn't we?
And that's hard for him. And the guy that pulled out on him twice, Chris Davis, now is fighting for the weight above the light heavyweight, which indicates to me that he might make this. You know, even one thing's going to happen with Chris. He'll turn up for this fight and give it a go. He doesn't win.
At his proper weight.
He loses to Bryce Goodwin. Bryce Goodwin is good.
Yeah.
So he doesn't win that fight. But I hope he doesn't pull out again. But I believe he will turn up, because I believe that it was the weight. He wasn't making the weight, and that's why he kept pulling out. I don't care what the official reason was. I believe it was a weight thing. But from Will's point of view, to have had to go into 3 full camps. So remember, Davis pulls out 10 days before both times. Check weigh-in.
Oh, one was 10 days before. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
virtually on the check weigh-in day.
Absolutely, yeah.
So from that point of view, you know, that is hard. He can't be at top. He cannot be on top
3 times in
a row. So he needs a break now, and he needs to get ready for next year.
So yeah, great fights. Obviously, Max done well. He'll definitely come back, but obviously bigger and better things thing. We'll just briefly talk through the undercard. Obviously, we had George Hennon, great prospect. He was obviously Jordan Granham.
He obviously jumped up quite a bit of weight in the last week, so we'll try again. One of the reasons.
One of the things, yeah.
He dominated Jordan over the 4 rounds. Couldn't really ask much more on that performance. He's fought well above his natural weight, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, again, that was a last minute hold together. Ellis Stewart, Robbie Chapman, another late notice weight change. This was a great fight.
Ellis went up quite a bit of weight, and that was actually a really good fight. I think Robbie gave Ellis nightmares, but there's no shame that Robbie's fought for 7 titles. He's on the road beating 6-0s, 5-0s. So for the fact that Ellis beat on his debut, he's quite impressive. Yeah,
it was a good performance. And again, another weight one. We might as well get all the weight ones out of the way. Adrian Martin stepped up at late notice for Aussie Jervier. Fair play to Adrian Martin.
His last fight was at middleweight. This fight's at cruiserweight. I think he's going to settle in the super middle light heavyweight divisions going forward. But full credit to him, Adrian Martin for taking it. I mean, he's fearless. He doesn't mind who he fights.
He didn't just take it. He didn't actually care.
He really didn't. Yeah.
Fair play to him. I think we all had a lot of respect from after that, didn't we?
Yeah. It was a big thing. Oliver Duffy, Michael Mooney. Again, Oliver, another performance run out.
Quite skillful. Mooney's tough. He won quite comfortably in points again.
Yeah. I think Duffy hurt his hand in the second round. Andre Descalu versus Harry Matthews. Great fight. Andre Descalu is a talent.
I didn't see it.
Glenn Banks was very complimentary about Andre afterwards. Andre's going to be a problem in light heavyweight super.
He's Harry Matthews is very tough, isn't he? Will test the ones that aren't thing, but Andre put him pretty much in his place. Is what was the wrong word, but kept him in his shell relatively early on and run out of sync. So it's a good performance.
Yeah, unfortunately not managed by us.
No, not managed by us. But
by the way, we're not trying to poach him because we like his manager Ali, and Ali's doing a great job of him.
Great. Anis Taj versus Paul Strykowski.
First time I've actually seen Anis. I was actually quite impressed.
Yeah, stopped Paul Strykowski in I think it was the second round. Yeah, he was done well.
Strong, can punch. You can see that. Yeah, he's walked through him really, just unloaded and eventually got him out of there.
We did offer Anis Taj a crack at Jamie Smith.
Yeah, Jamie Smith beats him, but Anis Taj is better.
But they did turn it down.
Anis Taj is better than I would have given him credit for pre-seeing him on Saturday.
Yeah, no, but it was good to have him on. And then obviously Tom Simmons coming to the show as well. Jake Darnell, good. I was quite impressed with him. Quite fast hands, moved really well.
I said my worry would be with him would be he's a bit small for a heavyweight.
Smaller the heavyweight. Still, he's a big lump, but he's a small big lump.
You put him up against some of the big boys like the Joe. I know he's not at the level yet, but Joe Joyce is.
Sure.
He looks more of a cruiserweight than a heavyweight. Especially when I see lots of Nick Parker who used to manage. He's quite
similar
a big
sort of build.
Yeah,
I think he was 15.5 stone. I think.
Yeah, I know it's quite a bit weight to come down, but yeah,
it was a good performance. Nice to have him.
Talk about cruiserweights, heavyweights. Is that the end of the card?
That's the end of the card.
Arthur Nick Bell's back as a heavyweight. He's coming up in weight.
I've heard our fans back.
So the English cruiserweight champion Arfan is coming back as a heavyweight. So good luck to him. I know we always used to say he should be a super middleweight or light heavyweight. But he wants to give it one last crack as a heavyweight.
He's got the talent. Heavyweight's going to be a big arse, but he's going to be an exciting fight. So
he's he reminds me of he'll be like a Bridgerweight type, the light of the light with the heavyweights.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be he just wants to have a good go, and full credit for him for coming back. I think he was extremely talented. If he was ever to have made light heavyweight, I think he could have been British champion and beyond.
Absolutely,
but Arfan will tell me he can't even make cruiserweight.
Heavyweight, he's still going to cause problems.
Yeah, and I think he's up for his licence next month, so I'm looking forward because I like Arfan, and I'm looking forward to seeing him back in the mix.
Well, as we're talking about heavyweights, we might as well move on to the big card at the weekend that we had: Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. Great fight, great finish.
I think it kind of went how we sort of talked about last week, didn't it?
Yeah, it was exactly that. It's almost like we know what we're talking about.
I've got 2 out of 3 predictions right, so I've got the.
We'll come on to that in a minute, but
I think the only people that are going to beat Joe Joyce are the big punching heavyweights.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Unfortunately, Parker's got a bit of skill, but Joyce just walked.
Just can't stop. The Juggernaut is the most apt name,
and that's why when I managed Chisora, I avoided that fight like the plague. Do you remember? And. But what you got to remember is, I think we can all get carried away. He walks them down and beats them up.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He beat him, but he didn't walk Dubois down. He just jabbed him, busted his eye up. It was a different. He couldn't walk him down as such and bully him. Mm-hmm. So when you come up with Josh says against the bigger types, he's not going to be able to do the same sort of thing. So, do I think Do I think he beats? This is my opinion. Do I think he beats Anthony Joshua? Yes.
Do you?
Do you think he beats Anthony
I
Joshua?
think he beats Joshua.
No,
Okay.
I think
So let's run this through just quickly. This is a big thing. Who do you think he beats? Does he beat Tyson Fury?
No.
Okay. Does he beat Deontay Wilder?
No. I mean, Deontay
I'm
Wilder.
not sure.
Deontay Wilder, although he's quite a small heavyweight, obviously can punch like a train. I think
He's got good chin. He's got a good chin.
Yeah, no,
Joyce.
but he's not been
Sure,
hit by someone. I
sure.
think Wilder.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I think Wilder lands a right hand in the first 3 or 4 rounds and puts him over.
Well, I think I'm
Okay.
fifth. I'm not sure.
If
I think
he's got anything left,
I think he's got a chance to. Okay, Andrew Ruiz.
That's a
Yeah,
really,
he beats
that's a
Andy
really good
Ruiz.
fight, but I'd bet George.
He walks him down, and I think he beats. Usyk.
You think he beats Usyk?
Yeah, he's too big.
That's,
But he loses-
do you not think?
No.
I
They
think he beats
fought in the WSB. Usyk boxed his head off and made him look stupid for 6 rounds, however long the fight lasts.
Yeah, this is different. I don't.
Usyk's bigger and stronger as well now, and I think he just does the same thing.
I
Okay,
think
that's
he beats.
interesting.
I think he beats.
2 more to go. Does he beat Illian White?
Yes.
Yes.
And does he beat Derek Chisora?
Yes.
Oh, easy.
Okay. So there we go. That's,
Easy,
that's
but the one-
interesting.
I'm not having the Alexander Usyk. I'm not having.
I
that.
actually think.
I'm
I
not
think he
having
can beat
that.
Usyk.
I'm
I
not
don't.
having that,
He
no.
gets absolutely schooled by Tyson Fury. I agree with Josh on Deontay Wilder, but I think to beat
Deontay
him,
Wilder.
you've got to be.
I could beat him.
Big. You have to be big.
Yeah.
You have to be strong, and you have to punch.
I'm not making heavyweight back. I know you're referring to me, but I'm not doing it if that's.
No, it's interesting about Usyk. I just think he may be able to bully Usyk around the ring, because you've got to remember. I know Usyk, but styles make fights, and Chisora gave Usyk trouble.
Yeah, but Usyk's. If you look at all his heavyweight fights, he's actually only getting better. You look at his. I'm trying to remember who it was. He's in America. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He didn't look great there. I think he stopped in the middle round.
The first, yeah, I can't
And then
remember.
got Chisora, didn't look great there. He just slowly got better and better and better as a heavyweight. I think he's going to improve still.
But I think Joshua. I think you say he's better and better. We're talking about being better on 2 fights. Joshua, right?
Sorry?
As a heavyweight.
He's had more than 2 fights.
No. His 2 really improved performances have been against AJ, right? And I think AJ is made for Usyk. And I've always felt that AJ is made for certain fighters. And I think he's absolutely tailor-made for Usyk.
It'll be exciting to watch whatever happens with Joe Joyce.
Yeah, so we're going back to that. You say Usyk's probably pound for pound one of the best talented boxers.
I agree.
Okay, and what's Joyce like? He's not the greatest boxer, in the world, but he's strong, come forward. So in paper,
It's almost the same.
yeah.
There's what?
He's saying that Josh is saying Joe Joyce is almost similar to Anthony Joshua in terms of
He's
he's
not.
big and
He's much better than that.
He's slower.
He's strong. Right. Anthony Joshua has shown, in my opinion, weaknesses.
Yeah, but-
mental weaknesses in fights.
But he's also fought at a far higher level.
Yeah,
for
I
long
accept
periods,
that. But
and beaten better people than Joe Joyce has.
yeah, but there's a difference. This is style. Styles make fights, right?
this is exactly what happens in the office on a day-to-day basis. This is the first time you see it, but I watch this happen on a daily basis. Right, carry on. Round 2. Go.
I'm sorry, but I cannot have that. You're so cool. Look, would it be a hard fight? Yes. Would I be surprised that Joyce won? No, but if I was a better man, bloody hell, I'd be putting it on Usyk.
Well, no, because I'm saying, you asked me what I think is going to happen. It doesn't mean it's certain to happen. I think that on the balance of probabilities,
No.
we disagree. But if they put Usyk up as 1-4 and Joe Joyce at 3-1, I'll be having a good bet on Joe Joyce. So
I'll take the bet.
that's right.
Okay, well, Joe Joyce, Alexander Usyk, if you are watching Ringtalk, Goodwin Boxing Ringtalk, can you make that fight? Because we've got to settle this between the two of them. Just quickly, while we're talking about heavyweights, sick of talking about it. We'd love to see it. Obviously, Fury AJ. Do we think it's dead in the water now?
I don't care.
I'm bored.
Yeah, fine. That's enough of that.
That fight lost. It was meaningful 2 years ago, and that's that. It's their own.
I think it's still big if they do it, but even now,
It's
again,
not
it's
got-
talked
it's
about.
so
as to-
boring.
It's not got the
it's-
same
it's-
razzmatazz. You've got the 2 best fighters. And
No, I still think it'd be huge. I still think it'd be
honestly,
massive, but
I wouldn't go out of my way to watch that fight.
would
no,
you not?
No.
I would. I'd still watch it,
If
but
I was
I'm
doing
bored of
nothing,
talking
If I was
about
doing
it.
nothing, I'd watch it, but it's not one of those fights.
I agree.
I'm keeping my diary.
I actually agree with Josh for a change.
Blimey. Jesus. Right, we'll move on. We're not even going to think of it. Echo Esserman, Samuel Antwi.
Yeah, I saw that.
Obviously, Echo done
Yeah,
what
Echo does.
Echo does.
He's
And
a
I think
lovely-
we talked about that.
Yeah.
We said the same
He's a
thing
lovely
last
kid,
week.
though. I watch him and I wish him every success. I remember he came to the office when he was fighting
Curtis Felix.
He bought us a T-shirt for us.
Yeah.
And he's a really nice lad. I'll never forget that.
Very impressive that night as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I really wish him all the success, and he's doing really well for himself, and really good luck.
And Tony Yancey, great. That was a great fight. So whoever was responsible for making that fight, it was a great trade, excellent fight. So Echo goes on and let's say done what he done. We'll go on to the matchroom card. We'll start with Terry Harper, Hannah Rankin.
But I thought that went exactly as I wasn't here last week, but I'd put my house on that being like that.
I'm guessing you watched Ringtalk though last week, and obviously
did.
you heard our predictions.
I did watch it. Yeah. And I think I think Hannah Rankin is a tough woman, no amateur experience. She's done amazingly
2 times world champion, I think, isn't she? So yeah,
but when she does step up,
Terry Harper, just that little bit more rounded, wasn't she? A little bit more schooled, a little bit sharper. Good performance for obviously Terry becomes a 2-weight as well. And then Maxie Hughes, Kid Gallagher, we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
We thought that Kid Gallagher might have too much, but
yeah, Max just keeps improving. I think Kid Gallagher's obviously on the slide a little bit. He should be losing to Kevin Martin at his age either. So, but I thought that might have just been a one-off for Kid. But obviously he's obviously sliding. I think Kid Gallagher at his best few years ago beats Max Hughes quite comfortably.
And Max Hughes, though, his recent form has been excellent,
He's
isn't it? I
improved
mean,
a lot.
he's one that sort of came out of nowhere, but it was sort of under the radar.
But
and now
he's got beat a few times at the lower level.
Yeah.
That's why. But he's just kept improving. It shows that a couple of losses doesn't mean anything. As long as you keep working hard, training hard, and improving, you can get to
that's
those
one
levels.
thing I think. Boxing, we over-egged this undefeated.
yeah.
Defeats, if you keep churning on, keep improving, you can get on. That sort of rounds up the shows that were last week. We're going to talk about it a little bit more next week, but obviously we've got 2 of your fighters on the Unified Promotions next week, end of next week.
Just want to put the hats on before we talk about this. It's being shown this card on BBC iPlayer. It's the first time that BBC iPlayer have got into this type
Back into boxing. Since
so,
Audley.
So support the BBC iPlayer next week on Friday. You'll see the whole card. We've got 2 fighters on the card.
So obviously we've got Lewis Frimpong on the undercard.
Who's actually taken a hard fight in Mark Butler. And Lewis Frimpong, he's having a 6th rounder, and he's trying to push on towards title contention. And
he's not one to. He won't. Lewis is one that will take fight. Obviously, fought Andre Santa, didn't he? At late notice,
exactly. And
it's a 2 prospect.
And you've got to take your hat off. You get a lot of people saying boxers don't want to fight anybody they avoid. Well, let's just look at this: Lewis Oakford, Lewis Frimpong.
Yeah.
2 examples of our fighters. Andre Santa as well.
Absolutely.
They are taking fights, and I have full credit to these guys for doing that, and they go right up in my estimations. I don't like, there are fighters that don't want to fight him, don't want to fight them. I don't have time for that anymore.
No,
if you're going to be,
but the market doesn't allow that to happen anymore because there's not so many journeymen about, and you're going to see more of this, aren't you? In terms
and when you get one that Idris Virgo, not mentioning any names, that since he's lost the backing of TV, he's not coming out and fighting any because he was just getting fed. He didn't want to fight anybody. So those sort of fighters I have no time for, and I call them plastic fighters. No, on our roster now, we don't have plastic fighters because we're not interested. There was one that we used to have that was a plastic fighter, and Josh will know him, and all he said to me was,
"Don't say that person.
Don't say the name." But this guy said to me when he was under our management, and we did get rid of him, "I don't want to fight anybody. I want to create the illusion, but I'm getting so much money in sponsorship. I just want to con my sponsors." Now, he's still boxing.
Sure.
I mean, it's just disgusting, and we've got no time for that. No time for that.
And obviously Lauren Parker is on that card as well. WBO Intercontinental.
So
first thing for great. We talked about it. Did we talk about it last week? Maybe, can't remember. But Lauren, obviously great for what she's done since she obviously signed management with you. Big opportunity for her.
Yeah, when she came to us during COVID, and she was 4-1-1, and she was out of contract. And we were talking about building her on small halls, and at that point her resume wasn't particularly great, right? And we got on really well, and I said, no, we'll take you on as a project, we'll do it. And what's happened is we've managed to get her signed with Susanna Schofield, Richard Poxon at Unified. We're still free to use her on our shows as well. They've been very, very good, and this is her third fight under the banner, and everything they promised us, they have delivered. The third fight is now for an international title. This is what we went for. So they are delivering everything. So full credit to them, and we've stayed loyal to them. Other fighters have made the decision that they didn't want to go with them and have done their own thing, and it's gone wrong for them. And together we're forging a good team. And she's really now becoming their jewel in the crown because she's literally two to three fights away from a world title shot. And that'd be fantastic if she can do that. And a lovely family, the coach is a wonderful man, Paul Webber, brilliant man. And all in all, we just hope she can do it. So hopefully she wins that next Friday, gives her a world ranking. We'll talk more about it next week. But myself and Josh will be up in Sheffield, and we're there to support her every step of the way.
And in terms of our next shows now the 12th of November, 12th and 19th. We've got 2 shows thing, so we're going to be announcing one of the title fights on the 19th. I'm going to do that this week. So
what do we announce on the show next week? How about that?
Say it again?
We announce the title fights we've got scheduled for next week on this show.
Yeah, maybe. We might get it out before then.
There's potentially. I mean, that is shaping up. The 19th is shaping up to be a cracker.
Absolutely.
It's going to be Boxmania, cracker, and if there's one show to go to this year, 19th of November is the one.
Absolutely. It's going to be a cracking show. Right, gentlemen, thank you very much. That'll roll it up for this week. We'll do Ringtalk next week. And thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.